Welcome in the newest tutorial, geode coasters with addition of druzy goddess in 4 different colors on the edges. Everything is fluorite inspired, and I want to show you step by step how I did it. So let's create them together. If you ever wonder how to make geode coasters, this tutorial is definitely for you. And now in the beautiful sunlight you can see the details as well of our finished product. First, don't forget about preparation. Tape the sides and the bottom with a tape and spray paint the bamboo coasters. Those are bamboo coasters, so you can use wood coasters in any shape. I'm using here squares, 10 centimeter squares. And what we also need, Apex resin, 1 coat, which is curing in just 2 hours. This is my favorite resin, especially for smaller projects because it's staying in place and I don't have so much waste. Druzy Goddess Glitters, Starseed and Goddess Whisper, and 4 of the colors: Persephone, Peony, Druzy, Violet Dream, Mystic Mint, and Siren Whisper. Those are my best choices for fluorite inspired artwork. And we are gonna need some pigments as well, but this is gonna be covered a little bit later. First thing first, just mix your resin, make sure that you use all of the guidance, and let's add some glitter. I'm using first Goddess Whisper, which is ultra fine white silver, and I'm adding this glitter to all of my Druzy Goddess sets. So if you're interested in where you can shop Druzy Goddess, I'm attaching a link in the description, and you can choose from different colors and different options. And you can also make ornaments with me, jars, you can make beauty boxes and artworks with the different colored druzy. So you can pick your own color choices and you can make in any color combination that you want. But first of all, I'm putting the resin with Goddess Whisper on the edges. It's in the place where I'm gonna put then druzy when everything is cured. So first thing first, let's prepare a layer of resin that first we are gonna allow to cure before we work with the druzy. And this is also an option for you. If you don't want to add any druzy on the edges, you want them to be flat without any addition, you can do exactly the same what I'm doing and just leave it at that. So now we are gonna work with some white tinted resin, and you can see me just doing the geode forming. So geode shaping, right? And we are working with very tiny spaces, tiny project. So very often I'm just pouring it from the stick. And I'm using the bamboo stick to just distribute the lines properly. If you're working on smaller projects like that, 4, 6, 20 inches, sometimes pouring with the cup is too much. I'm pouring from the stick to have fine lines, and you can see me doing that. And I'm having this video on a speed up because it took me a long time to actually create all of this beautiful formation for you. So you will see me working much faster, and I'm just creating those different shades, and it's all up to you and the color combination that you choose to create different shades on your geode formation. But I'm just adding basically here a little bit of the pigment that I want to work with. If it's purple or green or blue, it doesn't matter. I very much think that for this project it's better to work with resin tints or alcohol inks and instead of pigment paste or mica powders. It's gonna give you a little bit more translucent, or choose a pigment paste that is gonna give you translucent effect. It's gonna give you a little bit more softer look. And this is the first stage that I started with. I tinted my resin with one of the violet colors, which actually ended up to be too warm, and you can see me removing the complete line. So my best tip for you guys, here on this tutorial is to test your ink on the panel a little bit further away and see if you like the color, because if not, then you can easily wipe it off and just change the color, right? And here I actually had to go and I used the baby wipe to remove the line, but it took me a little bit more of an effort. If you test the color first on a little bit further away spot, you can then decide if this is the color you want to go with before you pour the whole line. And it's again pouring from the stick. I'm working first on the violet color. So if you can tint with semi-transparent ink, alcohol inks will always give you a transparent result, or pigment paste, which is more transparent, or resin tint sets. Just for you, Online UK is having a beautiful set of resin tints in different colors. So it's a great thing to start with, and you will have a lot of different color options to work with just from the start, you know. And we are reaching here for transparent effect. We don't want it to be opaque or sparkly. I'm looking for something that is gonna give me fluorite vibe. So I'm going for violet shades. I'm pouring 2 different violet shades, one more soft, one more intense, and then I will be moving to green. And this was definitely a project that was completely out of my comfort zone, completely out of my usual color palette. And I'm usually working with one color theme. If it's blue, it's gonna be different shades of blue. If it's green, it's gonna be different shades of green. If it's pink, it's gonna be different shades of pink. But here I decided to show you that you can also, if you are very inspired with some kind of crystal look, you can create it too, right? So look for the inspiration on the crystals that you can find. Maybe you have something in your collection that you really like. Maybe you saw something online. There are so many beautiful photos, even on the Instagram or on the Google. You can find a lot of photos of beautiful crystals. And if something really make you smile and you would be having this idea of, I really, really love this look and this crystal, look at the color theme that this crystal is having and what kind of color combination there are, and use those colors combinations in your project. And working on a smaller project with tests like that, with something that you haven't tried before or you are just starting out, is much better than starting a big artwork with 20-30 inches or like 50 centimeters and then thinking like, oh no, you know, this color combination totally is not working out. So starting with smaller projects, 4, 6, 8 inches between, you know, 10 and 20 centimeters, it's perfect to test something new, and you can surprise yourself how beautiful new discoveries you can have with resin. And resin is never gonna disappoint you because it's always gonna create something with, you know, high-end, high gloss looking finish. So I think you can surprise yourself if you are brave enough to just try it, right? So I encourage you to try and to test yourself, and I encourage you to also test different combination of colors in druzy goddess. If you are really open-minded and want to go with some new options and opportunities and combinations, I really encourage you to get Limitless Druzy Goddess set, because I'm having there 17 of different colors. And actually I'm gonna be adding very soon this week color 18th, which is gonna be peach, because I was just working on peach commission and I'm gonna add peach color to my offer as well. So if you want to create something with peach vibes, this is gonna be also a good opportunity for you. And I poured here 2 shades of green, and now I'm finishing everything with just transparent resin. But, you know, high viscosity resin is not moving very nicely. The lines were not connecting with each other, and maybe I could leave it and let the resin cure and everything would be alright. But I was a little bit feeling that I need to work on this piece and blend everything together a little bit better. And I'm not sure if I made the right choice. Maybe you can, try different techniques, right? On one pour, decide to swipe the colored resin all together to blend it together, like I'm doing that. And on the other one, you can, for example, leave just the lines. And because the lines that were so separated were not giving me amazing vibes, I decided to just swipe back and forward, and I was just taking my sweet time to work on this piece a little bit further with, a little bit more details, adding a little bit more purple or just swiping a little bit more. It's just whatever makes you feel that you are happy with the result. And now I'm just adding a little bit of white tinted resin. And it's again, I'm pouring from the stick. How you can see, it's much easier to control the amount of the resin that is flowing than from the cup, especially with such a small projects. And I'm wiping with baby wipe a little bit more because I was having like a blob of thicker white resin sitting there. And now it's time to introduce the starseed. This is the color. This is the glitter that I just recently added to all of my Druzy Goddess sets. And this is very fine iridescent, ultra fine iridescent. Now first I was tinting with a touch of gray. I was tinting the leftover from my white with a touch of gray to bring a little bit of the contrast before I introduced the line with the starseed. I knew that I'm not gonna finish this project with any metallics, so I wanted to have a little bit of sparkle, and this is why I'm loving to use the ultra fine glitters from my collection, from Druzy Goddess collection, which is Goddess Whisper and Starseed, because it's giving me so beautiful, delicate sparkle. And one is more like silver white, and the second, which is much more classic, and the second one is having this iridescent shimmer, but it's having so beautiful effect and so beautiful color coming in, warm tones. It's not having this like very pink, it's much more like warm. It's reminding me about the sky full of stars. That's why I call it starseed, and it's absolutely my new favorite. I'm adding it to my ornaments, I'm adding it to my wall art that I recently made for the commission in Peach, which is gonna turn into my newest course online class about jewelry for the walls, a full class that is gonna teach you everything about how to create jewelry for the walls standard artwork. And I'm gonna use it on my small pieces as well, like coasters and the new kitchen board and beauty box that I'm gonna do for you guys and show you here on the YouTube with my new tutorials how to make them. It's something that is giving you this extra high sparkle and very glamorous sparkle without overloading your pieces with tacky glitter, chunky glitter, and a lot of metallics. It's like soft elegance. So now, after the glitter line, what I decided to do, I just poured the transparent, because when you use transparent next to the opaque colors, it's always giving you a better 3D look on your resin pours. And I'm just working around with my fluorite look, right? I'm spreading the lines a little bit here and there on top of the transparent lines. I'm just messing around until I'm satisfied. Just be very cautious about to not overwork the piece. It's so easy to overwork the piece. Don't use any heat guns on such a small pieces. Whenever I'm working with geode style, I do not use heat guns because I can control with my hands how I'm swiping with the sticks if I want to dilute or make the lines a little bit softer. But you cannot have any control when you start to blow stuff around with the heat gun. It's the easiest way to manipulate resin, and sometimes you can create some cells, but the more you are blowing the resin with the heat gun, the more muddy effect you will achieve, and everything is start to go out of control. You have zero control, and the more you are working on the resin, the more uglier it gets. So I really recommend you to check on my channel the video about why to not use heat guns in your geode artwork creations. Use torch at the end of the process and you are gonna be completely fine. And we are almost there. Now it's gonna be the time to just leave it to cure, and we are gonna do the line work together. And this is when I started to work on the line work to decide which colors I like. I work with Tule art pens, acrylic pens, and Posca pens. So I was having 4 different colors. I'm having a light blue Posca pen, and I'm drawing. I actually wanted to draw a line with green, but this turquoisey color pen was giving me much better vibes with the connection between green and purple. So don't ever think that you shouldn't be testing any different colors. If something you already make a little bit more colorful, just continue checking and testing. Acrylic pens are so very easily removable from resin, so you can just test different colors, and if something is not making you feel that it's good and it belongs together, just wipe it out. And you can see how I'm drawing the lines. I'm using 1M size of the pens for all of my lines here because it's a small project. On a smaller projects, I'm using mostly the finest acrylic pens. And you can, like I mentioned, you can test different colors. Here I'm having a very delicate pink color, and I'm drawing it on top of the gray. And the last line is gonna be white from Posca pen, and I'm gonna draw it at the end of the purple. And this is how you bring a little bit of contrast, and also on the inner side at the edge of the glitter. It's precisely at the edge of the glitter. I'm doing double line with Posca pen. And if you want to learn more about line work, I'm having a separate tutorial about line work as well. You can check on my channel. You can learn a lot of things from the tutorials and tips on my channel. And yeah, just go and explore more options. And I'm also having full training for all of you who don't want to waste any time and material. I'm having also online classes, and I'm gonna have everything put in my description so you can explore options, different options for you to learn a lot of pro tips about geode resin style. So yeah, this is almost it. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines to finish those beautiful coasters, and they're perfect as they are. I actually like them. I was very surprised with this color combination, how it came out nicely, and I was really happy with the outcome. But I wanted to show you how you can bring those basic coasters to the next level, and this is your choice. Now you can create a very nice looking geode coasters just this way as I just did, or you can pump them up with a little bit of more effects. So this is a little bit better light, so you can see also the shimmery effect of the ultra fine glitter. And on the edges I'm having Goddess Whisper, which is so soft and nice. But let's bring them to the next level. White Ambrosia, Druzy Goddess, and then 4 colors that I already mentioned: Persephone's Peony, Violet Dream, Mystic Mint, and Siren Whisper, which is teal color. And I'm having the same resin that I was using before, the Apex Resin 1 coat, which is so good because I could create those coasters in just 1 day thanks to this resin. Those coasters were dry to touch in 2 hours. I could work on my line works after 3 hours, and I could right away, when I finished the line work, I could start working with the druzy, and by the afternoon everything was cured, and it was only for me to pour the top coat. So you can make a project like that with 3 different steps. Instead of 3 days, everything you can make in 1 day, because I need to wait until the druzy is hardened before I pour the top coat. Otherwise, it's gonna mess up with the consistency. And this is what I did. I mixed the druzy, each of the druzy in separate cup with a bit of resin. I have instruction about how to mix the druzy with resin for all of my customers. I have dedicated VIP trainings for the druzy customers, but you can create your own druzy like that in different colors if you want to, and you see me applying it, right? So it's a lot of very patient and detailed work, because the druzy, I want to attach it only at the edge. It's easily falling off the edge, and I was trying different combinations here. First, when I was working with the druzy, I was mixing 4 of the colors on top of the white. I like to use white because it's giving me a tiny bit of more texture and contrast, so the druzy is not as transparent. But I decided later, that I don't like when all of the colors, not on the small surface, I decided that I don't like the way how it looks like, and I worked with putting both shades of green, which was mint, and a little bit of teal color druzy on one side, and then Persephone Peony, which is very warm tone, delicate purple with more like amethyst looking violet dream purple on the other side. And then at the end of my creation process, I decided to connect both of the lines, so it's creating one united edge without any spaces in between. And you can see me just working on all of the coasters. And the druzy sometimes it's just like easy to fall off. You can see it's just like like my finger top, right? It's not very thick. On some of the edges was like half centimeters or even less. So it's really very small space to work on, and it's close to the edge. So just be patient, just rework on it. Even though the resin is having 20 minutes pot life, you can work on the druzy like easily up to 40 minutes. And if you use a little bit longer pot life, then you can work even a little bit longer, but I prefer to use this because it's curing faster and I can move forward with this project. I truly recommend that. And I'm gonna show you further how I was working and forming. So basically what was my guideline was the first line that I poured with Goddess Whisper. It's ultra fine white silver glitter that I mentioned, but whatever color combination you will choose for your own coasters, like I can easily see here working with just different blue tones and using like sapphire wings from my collection and lagoon whisper together with a little bit of siren whisper as an ocean theme and blue agate inspired coasters. You can work only on the green ones where you will introduce mint, mystic mint, siren whisper together with emerald nymph, and those will be amazingly beautiful together, different shades of greens. You can go with monochrome, which will be much in a classy and very universal looking, a little bit more darker. You can go then with Moon Goddess, which is more like graphite look druzy, together with White Ambrosia and, for example, the Phoenix druzy. Oh my god, those would be so amazing. I think I'm gonna do monochrome project next time. And I actually have a druzy set, which is Hera set, which is having all of them monochrome, which is between white, gray and black druzy. So you are not working with color, more of like monochrome look. And yeah, and then pouring different shades of between white, gray, graphite and black even with the line work. It would be amazingly beautiful. So very dark agate stones with the druzy on the edges. And I know that many people are stacking the coasters on top of each other, and that's why you don't bring any like 3D texture. But I don't think that it's, you know, not serving its purpose. I use those coasters with my glasses and with my mugs without any issues. The glass can stand on them very nicely. You can still wash the coasters, you can still clean them up a little bit, and they're serving its purpose. You know, you can stack them if you leave a little bit of space in between on the edge. So I don't know, I feel like they're pretty beautiful and pretty unique, and I love the uniqueness about that. And I love if you would consider like bringing your game to the next level as well by using something unusual, right? Not every artist is doing. And now we are making the druzy sparkly, so I'm sprinkling a touch of Diamond Kiss. And Diamond Kiss is something that I'm adding to all of my druzy orders, because I am a fan of this a little bit of extra fine shimmer on top of the druzy. It's giving you much more real crystal look because it's reflecting. It's just premium glass flakes. It's not glitter, it's glass. So, but it's reflecting the light very nicely. And now it's time to top coat it. The druzy was cured and finished just in 2 hours, and now I can top coat it. I'm waiting with top coating until the druzy is hardened, because it's not melting my druzy as much. So this is my pro tip for all of you using druzy in your projects. Wait until druzy is a little bit more harder, so it's not gonna soften it up and it's not gonna melt it too much. And I'm pouring just mixed resin Apex 1 coat on top of my coasters, and I'm spreading it. And I have a lot of questions about top coating, so in the next weeks I'm gonna prepare for you a tutorial or a tip video when I'm gonna share my best tips that many artists are overlooking when it comes to the top coats, and how you can easily fix your top coat from having, you know, failure pour to amazing high gloss results without any errors. So if you're interested in top coating tips, check my channel, my videos on my channel in a couple of weeks later. I'm not having any sequence of how I'm gonna publish the videos, in which sequence, but it's gonna be there. So if you don't want to miss any new tips on resin and new tutorials, I would really appreciate if you subscribe and if you leave a like underneath the video, because it's always helping me to reach more people, and it's also showing me that you appreciate my tutorials, so I can put a little bit more time and effort into preparing them for you. And I'm just spreading very delicately the resin. And to be more detailed, again, pouring from the stick around the druzy on the edge where the resin meets the druzy. And we are almost there. It's almost the end of the project, but it's a crucial way because acrylic pens are easily scrapable from resin. So if in wall art you can actually skip this step and it's more forgivable, on the functional art you can never skip this step. If you want to use pens, you need to always top coat your project after you use any line work with pens, because it's functional art, so it needs to be functionable, it needs to be easy to maintain, and it needs to be easy to use, right? You need to remember about the balance between the beauty and the functional aspect of the art. Torching at the end, as always, and yeah. and we are almost there, guys. Remember to not burn your resin with the torch. And this is the close-up. The resin is still not cured. Remember to remove any dust particles or hair while the resin is still not cured. And now it's time to remove the tape. It was the next day, because it was already very dark. I didn't have the best light to remove the tape and create a video, so it's next day, and I'm just removing the tape, and I'm gonna look at my edges, how they survive all of the pour and working. And I haven't used heat gun here. Sometimes it's crucial to use heat gun to warm up the resin, but sometimes it's not necessary. And bamboo is like a sponge for resin. Very often I'm having very clean edges, but sometimes the bamboo is soaking in a little bit and it looks like it's wet on the edges. And you can see here very nice clean look and finish. But if you have any like leaking or any wet spots that are looking like, the bamboo is discolored a little bit, I would advise you to just use, like here, see on this edge, it looks like it's wet. It's not like any thick layer, but it looks like it's wet. And I made my bottom side a little bit dirty because I was holding with my gloves. And this is where you have to just sand it. I'm gonna create a special tutorial where I'm showing you how I'm sanding my kitchen board from the resin drip offs, because I was not taping one of my kitchen boards, so I'm gonna create a tutorial for you about that, how to salvage your piece if you forget to tape it. And I don't like those wet looking, it just doesn't look professional. And bamboo is really plain wood, right? It's not looking like high-end, so I decided to use a marker to paint the sides. And you can use any kind of color you want to. You can choose to work with gold, silver, rose gold. Just choose any kind of marker color to finish the edges. And it's up to you how many layers you want to draw on. Just continue until you are happy with the result and the coverage, because wood is very soaking material. It needs from you sometimes 2 or 3 layers of paint to cover it nicely and smoothly. But yeah, there are a couple of cool markers set in Just For You Online UK offer, so you can get them in different shades and colors. And whatever is going nicely with your interior, if you create an order for a customer, it's always I always advise you to double check with them what kind of interior details they're having. Do they have decorations mostly in gold, maybe even in bronze or silver, or some time ago it was very popular, the copper decor. So it's always good to ask them whatever is going nicely with your interior decoration. I would advise you to use for finishing touches on the coasters that you are creating. And this is the difference right here. Look, it's looking completely different. It's looking much more professional. Remember to sand the bottom side if there are any touches of resin. And yeah, that's it. This is the beautiful finish that you look, our final product that you look at the beginning of this tutorial. And I'm gonna show up here for you to show you more creations, more ideas, how to use resin in different shapes and forms for the wall art as well as the functional art. So if you want to up-level your game as an artist, make sure to check regularly the channel. And I'm so grateful for you spending the time to watch this tutorial with me, and I'm wishing you an amazing rest of your day.